John Fetterman versus Dr. Oz. So, Fetterman has been raking Oz across the coals of being an elitist, of being an outsider, of being from New Jersey. I mean, we played some of the stuff here, which has been really quite funny and amusing, and I think very politically effective, as borne out by the polls, where Fetterman now has, in the average of polls, a 10-point lead on Dr. Oz in the state of Pennsylvania, a state that really should be Republicans to lose this year. So Oz apparently decides, I'm gonna do my everyman thing. I'm gonna go to the grocery store. I'm gonna talk about prices. It's gonna be super relatable. Here's how that went.
Thought I'd do some grocery shopping. I'm at Wegner's, and my wife wants some vegetables for crudité, right? So here's a broccoli. That's $2. Not a ton of broccoli there. There's some asparagus. That's $4. Yep. And carrots. That's $4 more. That's $10 of vegetables there. And then we need some guacamole. That's $4 more. And she loves salsa. Yeah, there's salsa there. $6. Must be a shortage of salsa. Guys, that's $20 for crudité, and this doesn't include the tequila. I mean, that's outrageous. And we got Joe Biden to thank for this.
So literally campaigning on the outrageous price of crudité.
So I was asking you before, I'm like, I have literally never heard crudité. Like, look, maybe I'm just unrefined, you know, haven't spent enough time in Paris or in France. Apparently, it just means a vegetable platter. Like, you know, like a raw
It literally just means like veggies and dip. Why couldn't you say that?
Just say that. Be like, all right, my wife wants veggie dip, so I'm gonna go get some. You could make the exact same point. Also, it's called Wegmans, not Wegners.
Well, apparently.
Which is a little bit of a problem.
So apparently, there was a lot of internet investigation into this video. There's Wegmans, obviously, and there's also a Pennsylvania chain called Redner's. He was actually at Redner's, but he morphed the two together and made it, what did he say, Wegner's?
Yeah, he said Wegners.
So apparently that's what happened.
It's even worse.
Honestly, I have to admit, I watched this video so many times and I could not stop laughing because every time I watched it, I noticed something else that was just like bizarre. Like, for example, what kind of a maniac goes to the grocery store and is just like piling vegetables into their arm?
Like, why don't you have a cart? Why don't you have a basket? Have you been to a grocery store recently?
Also, are you really gonna like dip that raw asparagus in some salsa now, bro? Is that what you're doing?
Good point. There's the chips.
Some
chips and some crackers.
And then at the end, he's like, gotta get the tequila because that's what people have with veggies and dip. That's like totally logical there. Anyway, it reminded me so much of the weird rich guy stuff that Mitt Romney would say during 2012.
Oh, yeah, that's
where you're like, are you even a human being? Like, do you live on the ground, on the planet with the rest of us? Have you been to a grocery store in the last like 40 years? What is going on here? So the other point that I thought a very good observer made online is this definitively proves that his campaign team definitely hates him. Because otherwise...
they would never have put this out.
No way you let him go forward with this video where he's talking about Wegner's and crudité. Not a chance. Like, this could not have been better scripted if the Fetterman campaign did it themselves.
Yeah, and Fetterman actually quote tweeted and he said, in PA, we just call this a veggie tray. It's like, yeah, you know? It's like, why is this so hard? And his ads have just been so cringe.
So
this
bad.
Again is further evidence to me that Oz's problem is that he is turning his campaign over to the absolute most brain-dead GOP consultants who used to work for Mitch McConnell. And this latest ad is the most perfect example. You could put it in a capsule as to what they think is, quote, politically effective. Let's take a listen.
Fetterman wants to release 1/3 of all prisoners. That's crazy! Spend more tax dollars, everything will cost more. That's nuts. Slow energy production, gas prices will skyrocket. That's ridiculous. Socialized medicine? Where do you get these crazy ideas? Now it makes sense. Better close it up. John Fetterman is crazier than you think.
That's genuinely one of the worst ads I've ever seen. And this is the thing. You can make the case on all of that. The other issue is is you should not be talking about John Fetterman, period. You should just put his face next to Joe Biden and then honestly, say nothing and just run that for 30 seconds straight of Fetterman on a highlight reel being like, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, meeting with Joe Biden, shaking hands with Joe Biden. Joe Biden has like a -30 approval rating in the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Just be like, John Fetterman will go to Washington and vote for Joe Biden. Do you like Joe Biden? These things haven't worked well about Joe Biden. I would say Biden's name. Like, remember when the Republicans ran against the Democrats in 2010? Actually, yeah, you were running then.
Yeah.
They didn't talk about even the candidate. They just said Obama's name over and over again. Obama, Pelosi. Obama, Pelosi agenda.
And actually, you would be better off going after Pelosi than Bernie Sanders is like one of the more popular Democratic politicians.
Even in leadership, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And, you know, I mean, we were, of course, on the left laughing at for those of you who are just listening, they have like AOC pop up with a sign that says free healthcare for all. And we're like, yeah, that'd be good. Like, don't threaten us with a good time. Anyway, it's very clear that, number one, it's being run just by this like totally tired, standard Republican, like socialism bad playbook. Number two, it's not even intelligent given that the least popular figure and the leader of the party is Joe Biden. Like, that is the person clearly you should be aiming your fire at. And number three, you know, I was thinking about the like rich guy problem that he has. I mean, you can pull off being the rich guy who's the, you know, successful, like somebody that everybody should aspire to. That's what Donald Trump did. I mean, Donald Trump never tried to be the everyman because it just would be ridiculous. That wasn't his thing. He just leaned into, remember when at the Iowa Fair, he had like his helicopter take people up and around and everything was about him looking this like, his family being glamorous and all this stuff. This picture of American success, the vaunted businessman, all of that. But Oz is trying to pretend like he's an everyman and then failing so hard at it. And I've seen so many politicians. It's so standard to like, you know, we're going to buy a pickup truck and put on a flannel shirt for the campaign ad. So I've seen a lot of cringy attempts at being the everyman. This is potentially the worst that I have ever seen. And that is saying a lot in terms of politics.
Just be who you are. You're a television star. Just be that. I think that's honestly fine. You know what he would be better off doing in terms of ads? Would be holding some sort of like fake focus group thing where just like the Dr. Oz show, and he'd be like, tell me how Joe Biden's policies has affected you. You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
that would lead
how is this difficult?
It leads into your strengths.
Do like an ad, which is a 30-second version of the Dr. Oz show where you, look, I mean, what was his strength? Being empathetic, talking with people, feeling their struggles, prescribing a solution. Okay, I mean, why is this difficult? I don't even work in this business, and I can figure this out.
You are not going to out everyman John Fetterman.
Never.
Like, if you are trying to compete on his turf. That's his lane. That's what he, like, people get that authentically from him and feel that that is actually who he is. You are never going to be able to compete with him on that ground. So that's why you're losing by 10 points.
Yeah.
And, you know, we should point out, like, you know, it's not like Fetterman is in a phenomenal position right now. He just came back on the campaign trail, obviously had a stroke. It was very serious. He was out of the public eye for quite a while. And it really is quite incredible that during that time when he was basically not campaigning is when they just have been destroying Oz.
On the air, online.
Yeah, on the air, online, defining him in this totally caricaturish way that he then goes and completely leans into and like 100% validates. And Fetterman recently did return to the trail, did a rally, gave a speech. And look, you can tell that he's still not 100%. Now, it's incredible this short period of time he's recovered as much as he has, but you can still tell in his speech that he's not 100% back to where he was. Let's take a listen to that.
And you can count on us to eliminate the filibuster if you come out and step with us. We will be able to stand with you in D.C. I gave away the lieutenant governor in Pennsylvania, the only lieutenant governor in the history to do that. And let's get some stuff done for America. Who would ever think that I would be the normal one in the race here, you know, with that?
So that is obviously like clipped to show some of the toughest moments in that speech. But I did go back.
It's not deniable.
I watched the whole thing so that, you know, I could give a fair assessment of it. And you could tell he's a little slow. I mean, there's no doubt. This was not like over the top, like outrageous, out of context or anything like that compilation of how he was able to perform in that speech. So you have a guy who is struggling health-wise, you know, still recovering from a significant and life-threatening health event, and you're getting your ass kicked by him, like undeniably so at this point.
Yeah, I mean, look, as you said, at the end of the day, if you zoom out, the conditions are very favorable. So does Oz still have a fighting chance despite all of this cringe? Yeah, he does. Now, should he even have to have a fighting chance? Should he have way more of that and should be a shoo-in? Yeah. So like that, I would say, is the fact that it is anywhere even close to some sort of 50-50 proposition, maybe even honestly 60-40,
Yeah.
or 55-45 or whatever on Fetterman, it should never even be within that margin of error. You should have absolutely cleaned up given the way that Joe Biden has his approval rating there. So he needs to step it up. But I mean, it's clear he's just not going to. At this point, he's not going to do what needs to be done. He better just hope and pray for a terrible economy. And look, I mean, Fetterman doesn't have a lot of public events scheduled. Clearly, he's recovering from a horrific health condition. There's just it's one of the most serious health events that can happen to you. I wish the man the best, but nobody on earth would tell you that the best thing you can do after you have a stroke is continue to campaign on the campaign trail. So, each side has its own pluses and minuses, but I think it's just insane that things even got to this point, truly.
Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.